Since the dawn of AI, there's one thing common everywhere. Everyone is talking about how AI is going to change everything. And I am here to talk exactly about that. The first thing, you are not the only one reading about how AI is going to change the world. And if you have noticed, I'm sure that you have, that there's a lot of fear wrapped around one thing. What AI is gonna do. Everybody's talking about AI is gonna take your jobs. AI is going to take your responsibilities. AI is going to, just transform the world in such a way which points to only one thing. You will lose the job. You will lose the business. You will lose the relevancy. And I'm here to tell you about what is happening right here. This video is about why there is so much fear around AI. I'm going to jump right away in it. You don't fear AI because of the technology or because of anything, but because of one reason. It is threatening your own identity. I will make this up very clear moving forward that AI is not about anything, but it is threatening the old way. It is threatening the manual way that people used to do in the past. Why I'm saying past? I will jump into the history to prove my point. I love history, and I love history for one particular reason. It has a lot of patterns, and if you see it closely, you will find that history teaches you something that no book in the world can. And the best thing about history, it repeats. Like, the patterns are there, they happen over and over and again. If you go into 1800s, if you go to 9th century, if you go to 5th century, humans have been the same. So you might think why I'm thinking about history when I'm here to discuss about AI. And this is the exact reason I'm going to address here. So before getting into the history, why everybody is fearing AI? For one reason, it's a change. Whenever there's a change, fear comes between it, and then using fear, the resistance comes in between. And why there's resistance? Because it is threatening the old way in there. Coming to history, let me give you some very good example. Back in 1800s, late 1800s, Japan put a sword ban, and now you have to understand that samurais, the Japanese samurais, they have a history of 1,000 years long. It was attached with identity, it was attached with honor, family, and a way of life. Japan suddenly puts a sword ban, and you can imagine how it must have impacted. If you don't know about it, you should read about it. And the upcoming years after the sword ban, it impacted a lot of samurais in different ways. Like, they wanted to resist, they were sad, they were in depression, they were losing everything about that. But fast forward after World War II, you can see the Japan you see today it's the direct result of what happened in late 1800s, right? And if you read about samurais, they were very deep into their skill, they were very useful to the government, they were very useful to the state as well, and they protected the state for a very, very long time. And they put the sword ban on samurais, right? But as I mentioned, what happened after World War II, what Japan is now, is the direct product of that sword ban. And it was very painful. If you read about it, it was very painful in many ways, and it was very uncomfortable for a lot of population. That one decision basically led a lot of people towards thinking in a modern way. They had to think where the world is moving, they had to learn from the world, they had to learn how to build something that will make them powerful again in a new way, because the world had changed at that time. Technology was moving very, very fast, right? The Japan you see now. Let me show you the other side of the picture. So in India, India had a lot of impact on history. They have a very rich history. It was a favorite place of French, English people, and all other big states of the world. And they had a lot of interest in India because they had a lot of money. But what happened over time, at the same time, in 1800s, British took over. And why British took over? Because of one reason only. Indians refused to adopt the new way of life. And the new way of life, let me give an example. In one battle, there were only 2,500 Englishmen with guns, and there were 60,000 Indian soldiers. You see the number now, 2,500 with guns versus 60,000 with swords. And you must have predicted the outcome as well. It results into Englishmen winning that battle, and eventually India. Not because they were superior in numbers, not because they were more skilled in sword, but they had guns and they knew how to use them. and that impacted everything what you see of India right now. So what happened there? One country, one state that put such sort ban and moves towards something that was uncomfortable. If you read about the stories in Japan, you will see that there was a lot of sad stories in there, and you might feel sad for them as well for some time. But on the other side, that led to something, that led to new way of life. And on the other side, where Indians wanted to keep their honor, they wanted to keep their old way of life, they wanted to keep everything that has history for them, they basically stuck with that, and the result is apparent. The world basically changed for Indians because they did not take decision when it was needed. Now you see, AI is not different here, right? It's just different thing in a different box, not some sword or guns, but it's the same thing. I always say this in my postings as well, that I do not fear AI. I fear the one who knows how to use it very efficiently against me, right? So it's the whole narrative. When the world is upgrading, you have no option. You cannot say that it doesn't fill me up with creativity. You cannot say that it doesn't fulfill the purpose. You cannot say that I don't use it. World doesn't care. It is going towards upgradation. It's a new way of life in a way that you have to adapt for the relevant. And I'm not saying that you have to use AI and just stay dumb bum in a way that you don't have to brainstorm yourself. But if you brainstorm well already, it will upgrade you in so much ways, right? So history will repeat itself again and again, whether it be sword ban, whether it be guns, everything, whether it be AI. And maybe after 200 years, people will be discussing about something else in a particular way. But I see only one thing here. You don't have to fear the change. You have to adopt the change in a way that benefits you, your business. So what is the outcome here? You don't have to fear AI. You have to fear the version of you that actually refuses to adapt that. This is the whole truth. And what happens if you don't adapt that? You don't lose relevance suddenly. You will lose it slowly, quietly, and then all at once. Just like what happens to Indians. And you should fear saying, I don't need this, like every outdated warrior in history. If you read about samurais, they were resisting that change for so much time that the world was moving in one direction. They were saying, this is not our way of life. We don't like guns. We don't want to use these. We want to stay with the old way of life, and that was samurai. But it was the end for them. But this tells me very interesting thing about humans. When they are not aware about their emotions, their actions, and their decisions, they are basically protecting their ego in every way. And I always call ego a wild horse. If you don't train it for your benefit, it will basically kick you off and go somewhere else. And it might injure you as well. So you have to train it in a way that you are capable enough to adapt that change. So what upgrading actually means? Upgrading means augmenting intelligence, not abandoning it. You have to integrate moving forward what is adding into your capacity. The samurai who adopted became engineers, strategists, leaders. People who win with AI will be the calmest and not the loudest. So you might think, how do I use this to think better? How do I make decisions faster? How do I build leverage instead of effort? And that we will cover in another video. Thank you.